The family man, Jack Campbell's day began as it always did, with the shrill ring of his alarm clock piercing through the silence of his penthouse apartment. He swung his legs out of bed and padded to the bathroom, the marble floors cold beneath his feet. As he brushed his teeth, he glanced at the mirror, taking in the sharp suit hanging on the back of the door, ready for another day of high-stakes business. He had a routine, a meticulously crafted schedule that allowed for no deviation. Every minute of Jack's day was planned, every hour accounted for. His apartment was a testament to his success, sleek, modern, and impersonal. It was filled with the latest technology and expensive furniture, yet it lacked warmth, a true reflection of Jack's life. He took a moment to admire the view of the city skyline, the bustling streets far below, before grabbing his briefcase and heading out. The elevator ride down was silent, save for the faint hum of classical music playing in the background. Jack checked his phone, scanning through the emails and messages that had accumulated overnight. His schedule for the day was packed with back-to-back meetings, conference calls, and a crucial presentation to a potential new client. He thrived on the pressure, the constant drive to succeed, to be the best. Stepping out of his building, Jack was greeted by his chauffeur, who held the door open for him. As the sleek black car navigated through the morning traffic, Jack's mind was already at the office, strategizing his next move, anticipating the questions that would come his way. He lived for these moments, the thrill of closing a deal, the rush of a successful negotiation. Arriving at his office, Jack was immediately enveloped in the controlled chaos of the financial world. His assistant handed him a coffee and a stack of documents. Briefing him on the day's agenda, they walked to his office. Jack thrived in this environment, where every decision had the potential to make or break a career, where the stakes were always high. The morning passed in a blur of meetings and phone calls. Jack was in his element, commanding the room with his confident demeanor and sharp intellect. He had built his reputation on his ability to stay calm under pressure, to think quickly and decisively. His colleagues respected him, even if they found him somewhat aloof and unapproachable. As the day wore on, Jack found himself thinking about the message from Kate. It had been years since he last heard from her, and seeing her name had stirred something deep within him. He pushed the thought aside, focusing instead on the task at hand. There was no room for distractions in his world. By the time evening rolled around, Jack was exhausted, but satisfied. The deal had been closed, the client impressed with his presentation. He allowed himself a rare moment of pride as he looked out at the city below, the lights twinkling in the darkness. This was his kingdom, a world he had built through sheer determination and hard work. Returning to his penthouse, Jack poured himself a drink and settled into his favorite chair. The silence of the apartment was a stark contrast to the chaos of the day, and for a moment, he felt a pang of loneliness. He glanced at his phone, tempted to call Kate, but quickly dismissed the idea. What would he say after all these years? Instead, he turned on the TV, letting the mindless chatter fill the void. As he sipped his drink, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. Despite his success, despite the wealth and the power, there was a nagging emptiness that he couldn't quite pinpoint. Little did he know, his world was about to be turned upside down. The encounter at the convenience store later that night would set in motion a series of events that would force Jack to confront his past, to reevaluate his choices, and ultimately, to discover what truly mattered in life. The high-flying executive was about to embark on a journey that would change his life forever. Jack couldn't shake the feeling of unease as he stepped out of his penthouse later that evening. The bustling energy of the city that usually invigorated him now seemed oppressive. He decided to take a walk to clear his mind, to escape the suffocating grip of his thoughts. The cool night air provided a welcome relief, and he found himself wandering aimlessly through the city streets. Eventually, he ended up at a small convenience store, its neon sign flickering in the darkness. He stepped inside, the bell above the door jingling to announce his arrival. As he browsed the aisles, he picked up a bottle of water and a pack of gum, his mind still preoccupied with thoughts of Kate. He couldn't understand why her message had affected him so deeply. It was just a name from the past, a chapter he had closed long ago. Approaching the counter, Jack was greeted by the cashier, a middle-aged man with a friendly smile. As he paid for his items, another man entered the store. He was dressed in worn-out clothes, his eyes darting around nervously. Jack watched as the man approached the counter, a sense of unease growing within him. "Hey man, can you help me out?" the man asked, his voice tinged with desperation. Jack's instincts kicked in, and he reached for his wallet, ready to help. But before he could offer any assistance, the cashier intervened. "Sorry, we don't give handouts here. You need to leave." The man's face twisted with anger, and he turned his attention to Jack. "You think you're better than me? With your fancy suit and your expensive watch. You don't know what it's like to struggle, to want something more out of life." Jack was taken aback by the man's outburst. He had encountered his fair share of aggressive individuals in the business world, but this felt different. There was a raw intensity in the man's eyes, a burning resentment that struck a chord within Jack. "What's your name?" Jack asked, trying to defuse the situation. "Cash," the man replied, his voice now calmer, but still filled with an underlying tension. "Well, Cash, I don't know your story, but I do know that everyone makes choices in life. Sometimes they lead us down paths we never expected. You just have to keep pushing forward." Cash stared at Jack for a moment, his expression unreadable. "Choices, huh? You think you've made all the right ones?" Jack hesitated, unsure how to respond. He had always prided himself on his decisions, on the path he had chosen. But now, faced with Cash's piercing gaze, he felt a flicker of doubt. "Let me ask you something," Cash continued. "Do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you had made different choices? If you had taken a different path?" Jack opened his mouth to respond, but the words caught in his throat. He had spent years burying those thoughts, convincing himself that he was exactly where he was meant to be. But now, confronted with the possibility of an alternate reality, he couldn't deny the curiosity that stirred within him. "Maybe," Jack finally admitted. "But it doesn't change anything. The past is the past." Cash nodded slowly, as if considering Jack's words. "Maybe. Or maybe it's never too late to see what could have been." With that, Cash turned and walked out of the store, leaving Jack standing at the counter, his mind racing with possibilities. The cashier gave him a puzzled look, but Jack barely noticed. He paid for his items and left the store, his thoughts consumed by the encounter. As he walked back to his apartment, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that something significant had just happened. It was as if Cash had opened a door to a part of his mind he had long kept locked. He replayed the conversation in his head, each word echoing with newfound meaning. That night, as Jack lay in bed, he found himself unable to sleep. His mind kept drifting back to Kate, to the life they could have had together. He wondered what she was doing now, how her life had turned out. He thought about the choices he had made, the sacrifices he had accepted as necessary for his success. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to imagine a different life, a life filled with love and family instead of boardrooms and business deals. As he finally drifted off to sleep, Jack had no idea that his life was about to change. Wait, he could never have imagined. He was about to get a glimpse into another life, a life that would force him to reevaluate everything he thought he knew about happiness and success. Jack woke up to the sound of laughter and the smell of pancakes. He blinked, disoriented, as he took in his surroundings. This wasn't his sleek, modern apartment. Instead, he found himself in a cozy, suburban bedroom, the walls adorned with family photos and children's drawings. He sat up in bed, his heart pounding as he tried to make sense of his new reality. Before he could process what was happening, the door burst open, and two children came tumbling in, giggling and jumping onto the bed. "Daddy, wake up. It's Christmas," they exclaimed, their faces glowing with excitement. Jack stared at them in shock. Who are you?" he stammered. The children exchanged confused looks. "Daddy, it's us, Emily and Josh," the girl said, her eyes wide with concern. Jack's mind raced. How was this possible? He didn't have children. He was a successful businessman, living in the heart of New York City. This had to be a dream, some kind of bizarre hallucination. Just then, a woman appeared in the doorway, her eyes filled with warmth and love. "Good morning, sleepyhead," she said, her voice soft and soothing. "Merry Christmas." Jack's breath caught in his throat as he recognized her. Kate. She smiled and walked over to the bed, sitting down beside him. "Yes, it's me. Are you okay, Jack?" He stared at her, his mind reeling. This was the life he had imagined the night before, the life he had wondered about. But how was it real? How had he ended up here? I'm not sure, he admitted, his voice trembling. "This doesn't make any sense." Kate's expression softened with concern. "Maybe you just need a little more sleep," she suggested. "Why don't you rest for a bit longer? The kids and I will start breakfast." Jack nodded numbly, lying back down as Kate ushered the children out of the room. He closed his eyes, hoping that when he opened them again, he would be back in his apartment, back to his normal life. But when he woke up a short while later, he was still in the suburban bedroom, the sound of laughter and Christmas music drifting up from downstairs. Jack took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. If this was some kind of alternate reality, he needed to understand it. He needed to figure out what was happening. He got out of bed and made his way downstairs, following the sounds of his new family. The living room was decorated with twinkling lights and garlands, a large Christmas tree standing proudly in the corner. The children were busy unwrapping presents, their faces alight with joy. Kate looked up as he entered the room, her smile warm and inviting. "Come join us, Jack," she said, patting the spot beside her on the couch. Jack hesitated, then walked over and sat down, trying to play along. He watched as Emily and Josh opened their gifts, their excitement infectious. Despite his confusion, Jack couldn't help but feel a pang of happiness at their joy. As the morning wore on, Jack found himself slipping into the role of a husband and father. He helped the children with their toys, laughed at their antics, and even joined in the Christmas carols. It felt strange, yet oddly comforting. There was a warmth and love in this house that he had never experienced in his own life. After breakfast, Kate pulled him aside, her expression serious. "Jack, is everything okay? You've been acting strange all morning." Jack took a deep breath, trying to find the right words. "Kate, I don't know how to explain this, but I'm not the Jack you think I am. I'm from a different life, a different reality. In my world, I'm a successful businessman in New York. I don't have a family. I don't have kids." Kate's eyes widened in shock. "What are you talking about? Are you saying you don't remember us? You don't remember our life together?" Jack shook his head, his heart aching at the pain in her eyes. "I remember you, Kate. I remember us from college, but after that, our paths diverged. I chose my career, and you chose a different life." Kate stared at him for a long moment, her expression a mix of confusion and sadness. "I don't understand, Jack. How can you not remember us? How can you not remember the life we built together?" Jack felt a lump form in his throat. He wanted to reach out, to comfort her, but he didn't know how. "I don't know how this happened, Kate. I don't know why I'm here. But I do know that this feels real. And it's making me question everything I thought I knew about my life." Kate's eyes softened, and she took his hand in hers. "Maybe this is a chance, Jack, a chance for you to see what you've been missing, to understand what truly matters." Jack nodded slowly, her words resonating deep within him. "Maybe you're right," he admitted. "Maybe this is exactly what I needed." As the day went on, Jack continued to navigate his new reality, trying to make sense of his unexpected journey. He played with the children, helped Kate in the kitchen, and even took a stroll through the neighborhood, greeting neighbors who seemed to know him well. Despite the strangeness of it all, Jack felt a growing sense of belonging. This life, this family, was everything he had never realized he wanted. It was a life filled with love and warmth, a stark contrast to the cold, empty existence he had known in his high-powered career. As night fell and the children were tucked into bed, Jack and Kate sat together on the couch, the glow of the Christmas tree casting a warm light over the room. Jack looked at Kate, his heart full of conflicting emotions. "Kate, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if I'll wake up and find myself back in my old life. But I want you to know that being here, with you and the kids, it's made me realize what I've been missing. It's made me understand the true meaning of happiness." Kate smiled, her eyes filled with love and understanding. "Jack, no matter what happens, just remember that you have the power to choose your own path. You can decide what kind of life you want and who you want to be." Jack nodded, her words giving him a sense of hope and clarity. As he held her hand, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for this unexpected glimpse into another life. It was a life he had never imagined, but one that he now cherished deeply. As they sat together, the warmth of the family home surrounding them, Jack knew that his journey was far from over. He still had many questions, many uncertainties. But for the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of peace, a sense of purpose, and as he drifted off to sleep that night, Jack knew that whatever the future held, he was ready to embrace it. Jack awoke the next morning with a sense of determination. He decided to approach this new life as he would a challenging business deal, with focus, strategy, and an open mind. As he got out of bed, he took in the cozy bedroom with its familiar, yet foreign, details. He dressed quickly and made his way downstairs, ready to face whatever the day had in store. The kitchen was bustling with activity. Kate was flipping pancakes, while Emily and Josh were setting the table. Jack hesitated for a moment, taking in the scene. It felt so different from his usual solitary mornings, yet there was a warmth and energy that he found strangely comforting. "Good morning, everyone," Jack said, trying to sound as normal as possible. "Good morning, Daddy," Emily and Josh chorused, their faces lighting up with smiles. Kate turned and gave him a warm smile. "Morning, Jack. I hope you're feeling better today." Jack nodded, returning her smile. "I am, thanks. What's on the agenda for today?" Kate handed him a cup of coffee and the to-do list. "Well, it's a Saturday, so it's a mix of chores and family time. The kids have soccer practice, and I need to pick up a few things from the store. After that, we thought we'd decorate the house for the holidays." Jack glanced at the list, feeling a pang of anxiety. His typical Saturday would involve catching up on work, not juggling family activities and chores. But he reminded himself that this was part of the experience, part of understanding what this life entailed. "Sounds great," he said, hoping his enthusiasm sounded genuine. After breakfast, they bundled up and headed out to the soccer field. Jack watched as Emily and Josh joined their teams, their faces glowing with excitement. He felt a strange mix of pride and bewilderment. These were his children, yet he barely knew them. He realized that he had a lot to learn, not just about parenting, but about being present and engaged in their lives. As the practice progressed, Jack found himself cheering them on, feeling a genuine sense of joy at their accomplishments. He chatted with other parents on the sidelines, forming connections with people who seemed to know him well. It was a stark contrast to his usual network of business contacts, but he found the change refreshing. After soccer practice, they headed to the local grocery store. Jack pushed the cart, while Kate and the kids selected items from the list. He marveled at the simplicity of the task, yet also at the sense of togetherness it fostered. This was a family, functioning as a unit, sharing the mundane tasks of daily life. Back at home, they spent the afternoon decorating the house. Jack struggled with the tangled lights and fragile ornaments, but Kate and the kids guided him with patience and laughter. By the time they finished, the house was transformed into a festive wonderland, and Jack felt a deep sense of accomplishment. As they sat down to dinner, Jack realized how different this was from his typical meal. Instead of eating alone in front of a laptop, he was surrounded by family, sharing stories and laughter. It was a revelation, and he found himself enjoying the moment more than he ever thought possible. After dinner, Kate and Jack tucked the kids into bed. Jack read Emily and Josh a bedtime story, his voice faltering at first but growing stronger as he saw their eager faces. It was a simple act, yet it filled him with a profound sense of connection. Once the kids were asleep, Jack and Kate sat together in the living room, the glow of the Christmas tree casting a warm light over the room. Jack felt a mix of contentment and uncertainty. He was beginning to see the value of this life, but he still struggled with the unfamiliarity of it all. "Kate, can I ask you something?" Jack said, breaking the comfortable silence. "Of course," Kate replied, turning to face him. "How did we get here? I mean, what's our story?" Kate smiled, her eyes reflecting the warmth of the memories. "Well, after college, we reconnected at a friend's wedding. We realized that despite the years apart, we still had feelings for each other. We started dating again, and before long, we knew we wanted to be together. We got married, bought this house, and started a family. It's been a journey, but one filled with love and laughter." Jack listened intently, feeling a sense of longing for the life he never experienced. "It sounds wonderful," he said quietly. "I wish I remembered it." Kate reached out and took his hand. "You will, Jack. Just give it time. The important thing is that you're here now, and we're together." Jack nodded, feeling a surge of gratitude. He was beginning to understand that this life, with all its challenges and joys, was something worth cherishing. He still had a lot to learn, but he was willing to embrace the journey. As he lay in bed that night, Jack thought about the day's events. It had been filled with small moments, each one contributing to the tapestry of family life. He realized that while his old life had been focused on achievements and success, this life was about relationships and connections. It was a different kind of fulfillment, one that he was only beginning to appreciate. Jack drifted off to sleep with a sense of peace, knowing that he was on a path of discovery. This new reality was challenging and unfamiliar, but it was also filled with love and warmth. And as he embraced each new day, he knew he was getting closer to understanding the true meaning of happiness. The following morning, Jack woke up with a sense of determination. He decided that, if he was going to navigate this new life, he needed to immerse himself fully. He wanted to understand not just his family, but the community that surrounded them. After breakfast, Jack suggested a walk around the neighborhood. Kate agreed, and they bundled up the kids before heading out. The crisp winter air was invigorating, and Jack took in the sights and sounds of suburban life. The neighborhood was charming, with tree-lined streets, well-kept lawns, and houses adorned with festive decorations. As they walked, they encountered several neighbors, all of whom greeted Jack warmly. He quickly realized that this was a close-knit community, where everyone knew each other. It was a stark contrast to the anonymity of his life in the city. "Hey, Jack, good to see you out and about," called out a man from across the street. He was tall and friendly, with a warm smile that put Jack at ease. "Good morning," Jack replied, trying to match the man's enthusiasm. "It's a beautiful day for a walk." The man crossed the street and extended his hand. "I'm Mike, your next-door neighbor. How have you been?" Jack shook his hand, feeling a sense of camaraderie. "I've been good, thanks, just trying to take it all in." Mike nodded, his expression understanding. "It's a great neighborhood. We're all like family here. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask." Jack smiled, appreciating the gesture. "Thanks, Mike. I'll keep that in mind." As they continued their walk, Kate filled him in on more details about their neighbors. There was Susan, the friendly woman who always organized the neighborhood events, and Tom, the retired teacher, who loved sharing stories about his travels. Jack found himself genuinely interested in these people and their lives. When they returned home, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. He wanted to get to know these people, to become a part of this community. He realized that building relationships was an essential aspect of this new life, and he was determined to embrace it. Over the next few days, Jack made a conscious effort to engage with his neighbors. He attended a neighborhood meeting, where he learned about upcoming events and initiatives. He volunteered to help with the annual holiday party, much to the delight of Susan, who was organizing it. Jack found that he enjoyed the sense of community and camaraderie. It was different from the competitive environment of his job, but it was fulfilling in its own way. He began to appreciate the value of friendships and the support system that came with being part of a close-knit neighborhood. One evening, as they were preparing dinner, Kate looked at Jack with a smile. "I've noticed you've been getting more involved in the neighborhood. It's really great to see." Jack smiled back, feeling a sense of pride. "I've realized that this community is special. It's something I never had in my old life, and I want to be a part of it." Kate reached out and squeezed his hand. "I'm glad, Jack. It means a lot to me and the kids. We're building something wonderful here, together." As they sat down to dinner, Jack felt a deep sense of contentment. He was beginning to understand the richness of this life, the beauty of the connections he was forming. It was a journey of growth and discovery, and he was grateful for every moment. Later that night, after the kids were asleep, Jack and Kate sat together on the couch, reflecting on the day. Jack felt a sense of fulfillment that he had never experienced before. It wasn't about achievements or success. It was about relationships and community, about being part of something bigger than himself. "Kate, I want to thank you," Jack said quietly, "for being patient with me, for helping me navigate this new life. I know it hasn't been easy." Kate smiled, her eyes filled with love. "Jack, you've come a long way. I'm proud of you. And I'm here with you, every step of the way." Jack felt a surge of gratitude and love for Kate. She was his anchor, his guide in this new reality. And as they sat together, the warmth of their home surrounding them, Jack knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be. He was learning to embrace the joys and challenges of family life, to appreciate the beauty of simple moments. And with each passing day, he was discovering the true meaning of happiness, one step at a time. As the days turned into weeks, Jack began to settle into his new routine. Yet, for all the joys and discoveries, he quickly realized that being a husband and father came with its own set of challenges. The life he had stepped into was not without its complexities and demands. One morning, Jack woke up to the sound of Emily coughing. He rushed to her room to find her looking pale and flushed with fever. Kate was already by her side, comforting her. "Looks like she's got a cold," Kate said, worrying etched on her face. "I'll call the doctor." Jack watched as Kate effortlessly took charge, feeling a pang of helplessness. In his previous life, he was used to delegating tasks and solving problems with ease. But this was different. This required a level of care and nurturing that he wasn't accustomed to. While Kate made the call, Jack tried to comfort Emily, brushing her hair away from her forehead and speaking to her in soothing tones. It was a small gesture, but it felt monumental to him. He realized that being there for his children in times of need was a critical part of being a parent. The doctor's visit confirmed that Emily had a mild flu. She needed rest, fluids, and plenty of love and care. Jack and Kate spent the next few days taking turns staying with her, administering medicine, and keeping her entertained. It was exhausting, yet deeply fulfilling. Jack found himself bonding with Emily in a way he had never imagined, learning the nuances of her personality and discovering the joys of fatherhood. As Emily recovered, Jack faced another challenge, helping Josh with his schoolwork. Josh was struggling with math, and Jack, despite his business acumen, found it difficult to explain the concepts in a way that Josh could understand. They spent several evenings at the kitchen table, working through problems and getting increasingly frustrated. One night, after yet another difficult homework session, Josh threw down his pencil in frustration. "I don't get it, Dad. Why can't I do this?" Jack felt a surge of sympathy and frustration. He knelt down beside Josh and put a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "It's okay, buddy. Math can be tough, but we'll figure it out together. Let's take a break and come back to it with fresh eyes." Josh nodded, his frustration easing slightly. Jack realized that patience and encouragement were just as important as knowledge. He was learning that parenting wasn't about having all the answers, but about being there to support and guide his children through their struggles. In addition to the challenges with the children, Jack also had to navigate his relationship with Kate. While their bond was strong, they faced the everyday pressures of managing a household and balancing their individual needs. Jack had to learn to communicate openly, to share his thoughts and feelings, and to listen to Kate's concerns. One evening, after a particularly hectic day, Jack and Kate sat down to talk. The kids were asleep, and the house was finally quiet. Kate looked tired, but her eyes were filled with understanding and love. "Jack, I know this hasn't been easy for you," Kate said gently, "but you're doing an amazing job. The kids adore you, and I'm so grateful for everything you've done." Jack sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's been a learning curve, that's for sure. I'm used to solving problems with spreadsheets and strategies, not bedtime stories and homework help, but I'm trying, Kate, I really am." Kate reached out and took his hand. "And that's what matters. We're a team, Jack. We support each other. We lift each other up. That's what family is all about." Jack squeezed her hand, feeling a wave of gratitude. He realized that while the challenges were significant, they were also an opportunity for growth. He was learning to be more patient, more understanding, and more present. It was a different kind of success, one that was deeply rewarding. As the weeks went by, Jack continued to navigate the ups and downs of family life. He attended school events, helped with chores, and made time for family outings. Each day brought new challenges and new joys, and Jack found himself increasingly invested in this life. He also began to see the world through a different lens. His high-powered career had given him financial success and prestige, but this life was teaching him the value of love, connection, and community. He was learning to appreciate the simple moments: a family dinner, a walk in the park, a bedtime story. These were the moments that truly mattered, the moments that made life rich and meaningful. One day, as he watched Emily and Josh playing in the backyard, Jack felt a deep sense of contentment. He realized that he had been given a gift, a chance to experience a different kind of life, one that was filled with love and joy. It was a life that required effort and sacrifice, but it was also a life that brought immense fulfillment. Jack knew that he still had much to learn, but he was ready to embrace the journey. He was ready to be the best husband and father he could be, to cherish the moments and build a future filled with love and happiness. One evening, as Jack was going through some old photo albums with Kate, he came across a picture of himself with his college friends. It brought back a flood of memories, the camaraderie, the adventures, and the bonds that had shaped his early years. "Whatever happened to these guys?" Jack asked, pointing to the photo. "Do we still keep in touch?" Kate smiled, her eyes reflecting the same nostalgia. "We've stayed in touch with a few of them. In fact, I was just talking to Laura the other day. She's organizing a reunion next month. It might be a good opportunity for you to reconnect with everyone." Jack felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. He had lost touch with many of his old friends over the years, his focus consumed by his career. But the idea of reconnecting with them, of rekindling old friendships, intrigued him. The following weekend, Jack and Kate decided to host a small get-together with some of their old friends. They invited Laura, Mark, and a few others who lived nearby. As the day approached, Jack found himself looking forward to it, eager to see familiar faces and catch up on lost time. When the day arrived, their home was filled with laughter and chatter. The kids played in the backyard, while the adults gathered in the living room, reminiscing about the old days. Jack found himself slipping back into the comfortable rhythm of their conversations, the years of separation melting away. Laura, who had always been the heart of their group, took charge of the storytelling, regaling everyone with tales of their college escapades. Mark, now a successful entrepreneur, shared his journey and the challenges he had faced. Jack listened intently, feeling a renewed sense of connection with these people who had been such an important part of his past. As the evening wore on, Jack found himself deep in conversation with Mark. They talked about their careers, their families, and the paths they had taken. Jack shared his experiences of stepping into this new life, the challenges and the rewards. "It sounds like you've found something really special," Mark said, his tone thoughtful. "It's not easy to balance career and family, but it seems like you're doing a great job." Jack nodded, appreciating Mark's words. "It's been a journey, that's for sure. But I've learned so much, not just about being a husband and father, but about what really matters in life." Mark smiled. "That's the thing, isn't it? Success is great, but it's the people we share our lives with that make it truly meaningful." Jack felt a deep sense of gratitude for the friendship and wisdom Mark offered. He realized that reconnecting with old friends was more than just revisiting the past. It was about understanding the journey they had all been on and finding support and inspiration in each other's experiences. As the evening came to an end, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had not only reconnected with his friends, but had also gained valuable insights into the importance of relationships and community. It was another piece of the puzzle, another step on his journey of self-discovery. In the days that followed, Jack made a conscious effort to stay in touch with his old friends. He reached out to those who couldn't make it to the gathering, catching up over phone calls and emails. He found that these connections enriched his life, providing a sense of continuity and shared history. He also continued to build new friendships within the neighborhood, participating in community events and volunteering for local initiatives. Each interaction, each connection, added depth and richness to his life, reinforcing the values of love, friendship, and community. Jack's journey was far from over, but he felt more equipped than ever to navigate the challenges and embrace the joys of this new life. He had discovered that true happiness was found not in achievements or success, but in the relationships and connections that formed the fabric of his existence. And as he looked forward to the future, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, surrounded by love, supported by friends, and ready to face whatever came next, with an open heart and a grateful spirit. As Jack continued to immerse himself in his new life, he began to feel the tug of his old world. Although his role in this new reality didn't require the same corporate pressures, he couldn't entirely ignore the skills and mindset he had developed over years of climbing the corporate ladder. He realized that finding a balance between work and family would be a crucial part of his journey. One morning, while sipping his coffee and watching the sunrise with Kate, Jack broached the subject. "Kate, I've been thinking, I know my focus should be on the family, but I miss working in some capacity. Do you think there's a way for me to contribute, maybe part-time or with some freelance projects?" Kate looked thoughtful. "I think that's a great idea, Jack. You have so much to offer, and I can see that you miss the challenge. Why don't you look into some opportunities that would allow you to work from home or have a flexible schedule?" Jack nodded, feeling a sense of excitement. "I'll start researching today. It would be nice to use my skills again and still be here for you and the kids." After dropping Emily and Josh off at school, Jack began his search. He contacted old colleagues, updated his professional profiles, and explored freelance platforms. He was surprised to find a range of opportunities that matched his expertise and offered the flexibility he needed. Within a few weeks, Jack secured a couple of consulting projects that allowed him to work remotely. He set up a home office and established a schedule that ensured he could be present for his family while still engaging in meaningful work. It was a delicate balance, but one that brought him a renewed sense of purpose. One afternoon, as Jack was wrapping up a conference call, Emily peeked into his office. "Daddy, can we go to the park after you're done?" Jack smiled and glanced at the clock. "Of course, sweetie. Give me 10 more minutes, and we'll head out." As they walked to the park, Jack felt a sense of accomplishment. He was managing to balance work and family, finding fulfillment in both areas of his life. At the park, he pushed Emily on the swings, their laughter mingling with the sounds of other families enjoying the day. It was moments like these that made the effort worthwhile. However, the balance wasn't always easy to maintain. There were times when work deadlines clashed with family commitments, leading to stress and frustration. Jack had to learn to prioritize and set boundaries, ensuring that neither work nor family suffered. One evening, after a particularly hectic day, Jack sat down with Kate to discuss his concerns. "Kate, I'm struggling to find the right balance. I want to give my best to both work and the family, but sometimes it feels overwhelming." Kate reached out and took his hand. "Jack, you're doing a great job. It's normal to feel overwhelmed at times. Just remember that it's okay to ask for help and to take a step back when you need to. We're in this together, and we'll find a way to make it work." Jack felt a wave of gratitude for Kate's unwavering support. She was his partner in every sense, and together they navigated the challenges that came their way. With her encouragement, Jack made adjustments to his schedule, setting aside dedicated family time and ensuring that work didn't encroach on their moments together. As the weeks went by, Jack found a rhythm that worked for him and his family. He became more adept at managing his time, carving out moments for work, family, and self-care. He also made a conscious effort to be fully present in each aspect of his life, whether it was a business meeting or a family dinner. Jack's new approach paid off. His work projects flourished, and he received positive feedback from clients who appreciated his dedication and expertise. At the same time, his bond with Kate and the kids grew stronger. They enjoyed family outings, movie nights, and quiet moments together, building memories that Jack cherished deeply. One Saturday afternoon, the family decided to go on a hiking trip. They packed a picnic and set off to a nearby trail, the kids buzzing with excitement. As they hiked through the woods, Jack felt a profound sense of contentment. He was surrounded by the people he loved, sharing an adventure that brought them closer together. At a scenic overlook, they paused to take in the breathtaking view. Jack put his arm around Kate, while Emily and Josh explored nearby rocks. "This is what it's all about," Jack said softly. "Finding moments like these, where everything just feels right." Kate smiled, her eyes reflecting the beauty of the landscape. "I couldn't agree more, Jack. We're building a life that's rich in so many ways." As they sat down to enjoy their picnic, Jack reflected on his journey. He had learned that true fulfillment came from balancing the different aspects of his life, embracing both the challenges and the joys. He was no longer the man who defined success solely by his career. He was a husband, a father, a friend, and a professional, each role contributing to a life that was full and meaningful. Jack knew there would always be obstacles and adjustments, but he was ready to face them with an open heart and a resilient spirit. He had discovered the true meaning of happiness, and he was determined to nurture and cherish it every step of the way. As Jack continued to embrace his new life, he realized the importance of community and the support it offered. He decided to become more involved in local initiatives, contributing his skills and time to make a positive impact. One day, at a neighborhood meeting, Susan announced an upcoming community service project. The local park needed renovation, and volunteers were needed to clean up, plant trees, and refurbish the playground equipment. "This is a great opportunity for us to come together and make a difference," Susan said, her enthusiasm contagious. "We need all the help we can get. Who's in?" Jack immediately raised his hand, feeling a surge of excitement. "Count me in, Susan. I'd love to help." As the project day approached, Jack rallied his family and neighbors, encouraging everyone to participate. On the day of the event, the park was buzzing with activity. Families, children, and seniors all pitched in, working side by side to transform the space. Jack took charge of the playground refurbishment, using his organizational skills to coordinate the efforts. He felt a sense of pride and accomplishment as the old, worn equipment was replaced with bright, new structures. The community came alive with a shared purpose, and Jack was deeply moved by the camaraderie and teamwork. Kate and the kids worked on planting trees and flowers, adding color and life to the park. Emily and Josh were especially excited, their faces lighting up as they dug holes and carefully placed the plants in the soil. As the day came to a close, the park had been transformed. It was a vibrant, welcoming space that would serve as a gathering place for the community. Jack looked around at the smiling faces, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Susan approached Jack, a look of gratitude on her face. "Jack, you've been amazing. We couldn't have done this without you." Jack shook his head modestly. "It was a team effort, Susan. I'm just glad I could be a part of it." As they walked home, Kate squeezed Jack's hand. "You were incredible today, Jack. The kids are so proud of you, and so am I." Jack felt a swell of emotion. "Thanks, Kate. It was a great experience. I feel like we're really becoming a part of this community." In the days that followed, the renovated park became a hub of activity. Families gathered for picnics, children played on the new equipment, and neighbors enjoyed the beautiful, revitalized space. Jack felt a deep connection to his community, knowing that he had played a role in creating something meaningful. He also found that the relationships he had built within the neighborhood were growing stronger. He had made new friends, shared experiences, and found support in ways he had never anticipated. The sense of belonging and connection enriched his life, adding another layer of fulfillment to his journey. One evening, as Jack and Kate strolled through the park with Emily and Josh, they stopped to admire the flowers they had planted. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the landscape. "This park is a symbol of what we can achieve together," Jack said, his voice filled with pride. "It's about community, about working together to create something beautiful." Kate nodded, her eyes reflecting the same sense of accomplishment. "And it's a reminder that we're not alone. We have each other, and we have this wonderful community." As they walked home, Jack felt a profound sense of gratitude. He had discovered that true happiness came from not just within the family, but also from the broader community. It was about giving and receiving, about building connections and making a difference. Jack's journey was far from over, but he felt more grounded and fulfilled than ever. He had learned that life's true richness came from the love, support, and connections that surrounded him. And as he continued to navigate his new reality, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, part of a loving family and a vibrant community, ready to embrace the future with an open heart and a grateful spirit. With the decision behind him, Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose. Turning down the job offer had reaffirmed his commitment to his family and the life they had built together. However, he also realized that finding ways to channel his professional skills and ambitions was important for his personal fulfillment. Jack continued to work on his consulting projects, finding satisfaction in the balance he maintained. He enjoyed the challenge and intellectual stimulation, while still being able to spend quality time with his family. Yet, he wanted to do more, something that connected his professional skills with his desire to give back to the community. One evening, while browsing through the local news online, Jack came across an article about a nearby community center that was struggling to stay afloat. The center provided essential services, after-school programs, job training, and support groups that were vital to the local community. Due to funding cuts and poor management, the center was at risk of closing. Jack felt a spark of inspiration. He realized that his business acumen and experience could be put to good use here. The centre needed someone who could help reorganize its operations, secure funding, and ensure its sustainability. The next day, Jack visited the community centre. It was a modest building, but it buzzed with activity. Children were engaged in various after-school programs, adults attended job training sessions, and seniors participated in social activities. The centre was clearly a lifeline for many, and its closure would be a significant loss. Jack met with Maria, the centre's director. She was a dedicated and passionate woman, clearly overwhelmed by the challenges they faced. "Maria, I read about the difficulties you're having. I'd like to offer my help," Jack said, his voice filled with determination. "I have experience in business and management, and I think together we can turn things around." Maria looked at Jack, a mixture of hope and skepticism in her eyes. "We could certainly use the help, Jack, but it's going to be a tough road." "Are you sure you're up for it?" Jack smiled. "Absolutely. I believe in what you're doing here, and I want to help make sure it continues." They began working together, starting with an assessment of the centre's finances and operations. Jack brought his expertise to bear, identifying areas for improvement and developing a comprehensive plan to stabilize the centre. He also reached out to his network, securing donations and grants that provided much-needed funds. Jack's involvement went beyond just financial support. He volunteered his time, helping to run programs and mentor participants. He found immense satisfaction in seeing the positive impact of their efforts. The centre began to thrive, its programs expanding and its future secured. One afternoon, as Jack was leaving the centre, he bumped into a young man named Alex. Alex had been attending the job training sessions and had recently secured a position with a local company. "Jack, I just wanted to thank you," Alex said, shaking Jack's hand. "The training I received here made all the difference. I'm starting a new job next week, and it's all because of this place." Jack felt a swell of pride and gratitude. "That's fantastic, Alex. I'm glad to hear it. Keep up the great work." As Jack walked to his car, he reflected on the journey that had brought him here. He had found a way to combine his professional skills with his desire to give back, creating a new sense of purpose. It was a purpose that brought him immense fulfillment and connected him deeply with his community. At home, Jack shared his experiences with Kate and the kids. They were excited and proud of the difference he was making. Emily and Josh even started volunteering at the centre, helping with various programs and activities. Kate was particularly supportive, her eyes shining with pride. "You found a way to bring your old life and our new life together, Jack. It's incredible what you're doing." Jack smiled, feeling a deep sense of contentment. "It's all thanks to you and the kids, Kate. You've been my rock through all of this. I couldn't have done it without your support." Together, they continued to build a life that was rich in love, connection, and purpose. Jack's journey had taken unexpected turns, but he had discovered that true fulfillment came from balancing personal and professional ambitions with the needs of his family and community. Jack knew there would always be challenges and temptations along the way, but he felt confident in his ability to navigate them. He had found his true purpose and was determined to live a life that reflected his values and priorities. As Jack looked toward the future, he felt a profound sense of gratitude. He was surrounded by a loving family, engaged in meaningful work, and deeply connected to his community. It was a life that was rich and fulfilling in ways he had never imagined. And as he embraced each new day, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be. As the months passed, Jack's involvement with the community centre continued to deepen, and so did his relationship with his family. The balance he had struck between his professional endeavours and his personal life brought him immense satisfaction. He felt more connected than ever to Kate and the kids, and his efforts were having a tangible impact on their community. One evening, while sitting around the dinner table, Kate suggested an idea that would bring the family even closer. "Jack, I've been thinking, How about we plan a family vacation? It's been a while since we've had some time away together, just the four of us." Emily and Josh's eyes lit up at the suggestion. "Yes. Can we go to the beach?" Emily asked excitedly. Josh nodded in agreement. "Or maybe camping in the mountains." Jack smiled, feeling a warm glow inside. "I think a family vacation sounds perfect. We can decide on a place together and make it a trip to remember." They spent the next few days discussing different destinations, finally settling on a week-long beach vacation. The excitement built as they planned their activities: swimming, beach games, and exploring the local area. It was a much-needed break for everyone and a chance to strengthen their bonds. The vacation turned out to be everything they had hoped for and more. They rented a cozy beach house with a stunning view of the ocean. Each morning, they woke up to the sound of waves crashing and spent their days soaking up the sun, building sandcastles, and playing in the surf. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, they gathered around a beach bonfire. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, and the air was filled with the sound of laughter and the crackle of the fire. Jack sat next to Kate, their hands intertwined. Emily and Josh were toasting marshmallows, their faces glowing with happiness. "This is perfect," Kate said softly, leaning her head on Jack's shoulder. "Just us and the kids, enjoying these moments together." Jack kissed the top of her head. "I couldn't agree more. These are the memories we'll cherish forever." As they watched the stars come out, Jack felt a profound sense of contentment. The vacation had brought them closer, reminding him of the importance of family time and the joy of shared experiences. It was a reminder that while work and community involvement were important, the heart of his happiness lay in these simple, beautiful moments with his loved ones. When they returned home, the family felt rejuvenated and more connected than ever. Jack's sense of fulfillment grew as he continued to balance his various roles. His consulting projects flourished, the community center thrived, and his bond with Kate and the kids deepened. One Saturday, the family decided to host a barbecue for their neighbors. It was a chance to strengthen their community ties and share the warmth and camaraderie they had experienced during their vacation. They set up tables in the backyard, decorated with fairy lights and colorful tablecloths. The grill sizzled with burgers and hot dogs, and the air was filled with the sounds of children playing and adults chatting. As Jack mingled with the guests, he felt a deep sense of pride and belonging. He and Kate had created a home that was not just a physical space, but a place of love, warmth, and community. Their backyard was filled with laughter and joy, the culmination of their efforts to build a meaningful life together. Maria, the director of the community center, was among the guests. She approached Jack with a smile. "Jack, I wanted to thank you again for everything you've done for the center. It's thriving because of your hard work and dedication." Jack shook his head modestly. "It's been a team effort, Maria. I'm just glad to be a part of it." Maria looked around at the gathering, her eyes reflecting the sense of community and connection. "This is what it's all about, isn't it? Bringing people together, creating bonds that strengthen us all." Jack nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "Absolutely. It's what makes life rich and meaningful." As the evening wore on and the stars appeared in the night sky, Jack felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had found a balance that brought him joy and purpose, a life that was enriched by the love of his family and the support of his community. He knew there would always be challenges and temptations, but he felt confident in his ability to navigate them, grounded in the values and connections that mattered most. Jack looked at Kate, Emily, and Josh, his heart swelling with love and gratitude. He had discovered that the true measure of success wasn't found in titles or material wealth, but in the relationships he nurtured and the positive impact he had on those around him. As they gathered for a family photo, Jack smiled, feeling a profound sense of happiness. He had come a long way from the man who once defined himself by his career alone. Now, he was a devoted husband, a loving father, a supportive friend, and a valued member of his community. and as he looked toward the future, he knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, surrounded by love, purpose, and the joy of living a truly balanced life. As Jack continued to immerse himself in his family life and community work, he felt a growing sense of contentment. However, life has a way of presenting new challenges, and Jack soon found himself facing situations that tested his resilience and resolve. One crisp autumn morning, Jack received an urgent call from Maria. The community center's main sponsor had pulled out, citing financial difficulties. This unexpected setback threatened the stability of the center and the programs it offered. "Jack, we're in trouble," Maria said, her voice filled with worrying. "Without the sponsor, we can't sustain our operations for long. We need to find a solution quickly." Jack's mind raced as he absorbed the news. The community center had become a lifeline for so many, and he couldn't bear the thought of it closing. He knew they needed to act fast to secure new funding and keep the center running. "Maria, don't worry. We'll figure this out together," Jack reassured her. "Let's organize a meeting with the board and come up with a plan." They convened an emergency board meeting that evening. Jack presented a detailed analysis of their financial situation and proposed several strategies to secure new funding. They decided to launch a fundraising campaign, reach out to local businesses for support, and apply for grants from charitable foundations. Jack took the lead on the fundraising campaign, leveraging his network and experience to garner support. He organized a benefit dinner, reaching out to local businesses, community leaders, and former clients to contribute. The preparations were intense, but Jack's determination to save the center fueled his efforts. The night of the benefit dinner arrived, and the community rallied together. The event was held at a local banquet hall, beautifully decorated and buzzing with energy. Jack stood at the entrance, welcoming guests and feeling a mix of hope and anxiety. As the evening progressed, Jack took the stage to speak. He shared stories of the center's impact, highlighting the lives that had been changed through its programs. His heartfelt speech resonated with the audience, many of whom were moved to contribute generously. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Jack concluded. "Your support means the world to us and to everyone who relies on the community center. Together, we can ensure that it continues to thrive." The response was overwhelming. By the end of the evening, they had raised a substantial amount, enough to cover the immediate shortfall and provide a buffer for future operations. Jack felt a profound sense of relief and gratitude. The community's support reaffirmed the importance of their work and the strength of their collective effort. With the immediate crisis averted, Jack and Maria focused on long-term sustainability. They diversified their funding sources, built partnerships with local businesses, and implemented cost-saving measures. The experience had strengthened the center and deepened Jack's commitment to its mission. Meanwhile, at home, life presented its own set of challenges. Emily was navigating the ups and downs of high school, and Josh was dealing with the pressures of middle school. Jack and Kate worked together to support their children, offering guidance and encouragement through the tumultuous teenage years. One evening, Emily came home looking upset. She had a conflict with a friend at school, and it was weighing heavily on her. Jack and Kate sat down with her, listening as she poured out her feelings. "It's so hard, Dad. I thought we were best friends, but now she's just ignoring me," Emily said, her voice trembling. Jack wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "I'm sorry you're going through this, sweetheart. Friendships can be tough, especially at your age. Sometimes people change, and it's hard to understand why." Kate nodded in agreement. "It's important to talk about how you're feeling, Emily, and remember, true friends will stand by you, even when things get tough. You'll find those friends, and they'll appreciate you for who you are." Emily wiped away her tears and managed a small smile. "Thanks, Mom and Dad. It helps to talk about it." In another part of the house, Josh was struggling with his math homework. Jack spent time working through the problems with him, patiently explaining the concepts and helping him build his confidence. "Thanks, Dad. I think I'm getting the hang of it now," Josh said, a grin spreading across his face. Jack ruffled his hair. "You're doing great, Josh. Just keep practicing, and you'll get better and better." These moments reinforced the importance of being present for his family. Jack's dedication to his children's well-being mirrored his commitment to the community center, and he found fulfillment in both roles. One weekend, the family decided to take a break from their busy schedules and go on a hiking trip. They ventured into the nearby mountains, enjoying the crisp air and breathtaking views. The hike was challenging but invigorating, a reminder of the strength and resilience they had built together. As they reached the summit, they stood together, gazing out at the panoramic view. The sense of accomplishment and unity was palpable. "Look at this view," Josh exclaimed. "It's amazing." Kate smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "It is, isn't it? And we made it here together." Jack felt a deep sense of contentment. The journey to this point had been filled with twists and turns, but each challenge had strengthened their bonds and deepened their connections. They were a team, navigating life's ups and downs with love and support. As they hiked back down, Jack reflected on the path they had taken. He had discovered that true success wasn't about avoiding challenges, but facing them with courage and resilience. His journey had taught him the value of balance, the importance of community, and the joy of living a life filled with purpose and connection. Back at home, they settled into their routines with renewed energy. Jack continued his work at the community center, ensuring its long-term sustainability. He also made time for his consulting projects, finding fulfillment in the balance he had created. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table, Jack looked at his family with a heart full of gratitude. They had weathered storms together, celebrated victories, and grown closer with each passing day. "Life will always have its challenges," Jack said, raising his glass. "But with love, support, and resilience, we can face anything that comes our way. Here's to our journey and the many adventures ahead." Kate, Emily, and Josh raised their glasses, their faces glowing with love and pride. "To our journey," they echoed, clinking their glasses together. As Jack looked at the faces of his loved ones, he felt a profound sense of peace. He had found his true purpose in the balance of family, community, and personal fulfillment. And as he embraced each new day, he knew that their shared journey was the greatest adventure of all. Jack's life had reached a harmonious balance. His professional work, community involvement, and family life were intertwined in a way that brought him immense fulfillment. But as he looked toward the future, he realized that the true measure of his efforts would be in the legacy he left behind. The community center had become a cornerstone of their neighborhood. The programs were thriving, participation was at an all-time high, and the center was financially stable thanks to Jack and Maria's efforts. But Jack knew that sustainability required more than just financial stability. It required strong leadership and a sense of ownership from the community itself. One day, while discussing future plans with Maria, Jack proposed an idea. "Maria, I've been thinking about the long-term vision for the center. We need to cultivate leaders from within the community who can carry this work forward. What do you think about starting a leadership development program?" Maria's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. "That's a fantastic idea, Jack. Empowering our own members to take on leadership roles will ensure the center's future. Let's do it." They designed a program that included mentorship, workshops, and opportunities for practical experience. Jack and Maria reached out to community members who showed potential, inviting them to participate. The response was overwhelming. Many people were eager to contribute and develop their skills. One of the standout participants was a young woman named Tanya. She had grown up in the neighborhood and had been a beneficiary of the center's programs. Tanya was passionate, intelligent, and driven to make a difference. Jack saw in her the qualities of a great leader. During one of their mentoring sessions, Jack shared his vision for the center's future. "Tanya, you have the potential to make a significant impact here. Leadership is about serving others and empowering them to reach their full potential. I believe you can do that. Tanya smiled, her eyes filled with determination. Thank you, Jack. This place has given me so much, and I want to give back. I'm ready to take on more responsibility and help lead the center into the future. As Tanya and other emerging leaders grew into their roles, Jack felt a sense of pride and satisfaction. He was witnessing the birth of a new generation of leaders who would carry forward the values and mission of the community center. It was a legacy that would endure long after his active involvement. At home, Jack and Kate continued to nurture their family bonds. Emily and Josh were thriving, each finding their paths and passions. Emily had developed an interest in environmental science, inspired by a school project on climate change. She spent hours researching and sharing her findings with the family, her enthusiasm infectious. Dad, did you know that small changes in our daily habits can have a big impact on the environment? Emily asked one evening. We can start by reducing our plastic use and conserving energy. Jack was impressed by her dedication. That's amazing, Emily. I'm proud of you for taking the initiative. Let's work together to make our home more eco-friendly. Josh, on the other hand, had discovered a love for music. He had joined the school band and spent hours practicing his trumpet. His progress was remarkable, and his passion for music brought a new rhythm to their home. One Saturday morning, Josh performed a solo at a school concert. The family attended, their hearts swelling with pride as they watched him play. His talent and dedication shone through, and the applause at the end was thunderous. As they celebrated with ice cream afterward, Jack reflected on how his children were growing into their own unique selves, each pursuing their passions with the same determination he had once reserved for his career. He felt immense pride in their achievements and joy in supporting their journeys. Meanwhile, Kate had taken on a new project at the community center, organizing a health and wellness initiative. She partnered with local healthcare providers to offer free health screenings, fitness classes, and nutrition workshops. Her work was well received, and the initiative quickly became one of the center's most popular programs. One evening, as they sat on the porch after dinner, Kate and Jack talked about their evolving roles and the impact they were making. Jack, it's incredible to see how much the community center has grown and how our family has blossomed, Kate said, her eyes reflecting the satisfaction she felt. We've built something truly special. Jack nodded, his heart full. We have, Kate, and it's not just about what we've done, but the legacy we're creating. We're empowering others to take the lead and make a difference. That's what matters most. Their conversation turned to the future. Jack had always been driven by a desire to make a meaningful impact, and now he saw that the most profound impact came from nurturing others and building a strong foundation for the future. As the years passed, Jack and Kate continued to support their community and family. The leadership program at the community center flourished, with Tanya and others stepping into key roles. The center became a model of sustainability and community empowerment, its influence extending beyond the neighborhood. Emily went on to study environmental science in college, driven by her passion to protect the planet. She became an advocate for sustainable practices, her work inspiring others to take action. Josh pursued a career in music, his talent and dedication leading to a successful career as a musician. Jack's consulting business continued to thrive, but he took on fewer projects, focusing instead on mentoring and giving back. He found immense fulfillment in seeing others succeed and knowing that his efforts had contributed to their growth. One summer evening, the family gathered for a reunion at the community center. It was a celebration of the center's anniversary, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and gratitude. As they looked around at the thriving community, Jack and Kate felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Tanya took the stage to speak, her voice confident and filled with emotion. This center has been a beacon of hope and support for so many. It's because of the vision and dedication of people like Jack and Kate that we've come this far. They've shown us the power of community and the importance of giving back. Jack and Kate stood together, their hearts swelling with pride as they received a standing ovation. It was a moment that encapsulated their journey, a journey of love, resilience, and purpose. As the evening drew to a close, Jack looked at his family and the community they had helped build. He felt a profound sense of peace, knowing that their legacy would endure, carried forward by the people they had empowered and inspired. The true measure of their success wasn't in accolades or material wealth, but in the lives they had touched and the positive change they had created. It was a legacy of love, connection, and purpose, a legacy that would continue to grow and flourish for generations to come. With the years rolling by, Jack and Kate found themselves in a phase of life where change was both inevitable and welcome. Their children, Emily and Josh, were blossoming into remarkable young adults, and the community centre had firmly established itself as a pillar of the neighbourhood. Jack and Kate had achieved a balance that brought them deep satisfaction, but they also recognized that life was about continuous growth and embracing new opportunities. One significant change on the horizon was Emily's impending graduation from college. She had been accepted into a prestigious environmental research program that would take her to different parts of the world. The prospect of her leaving home again stirred mixed emotions in Jack and Kate. They were immensely proud of her achievements and excited for her future, but they also knew they would miss her presence. Emily's enthusiasm was contagious as she discussed her plans over dinner one evening. "I'll be traveling to South America first, studying the effects of deforestation on local ecosystems. It's such an incredible opportunity, and I can't wait to get started." Jack smiled, feeling a swell of pride. "Emily, you're going to make a huge impact. Your dedication and passion are truly inspiring." Kate nodded in agreement, her eyes shining with pride and a hint of sadness. "We're so proud of you, Emily. Just promise to keep in touch and share your adventures with us." Emily reached out to squeeze their hands. "Of course, Mom and Dad. I wouldn't be here without your support. I'll make sure to call and send lots of pictures." As they prepared for Emily's departure, Jack and Kate found themselves reflecting on their own journey. They had come a long way since that pivotal Christmas morning when Jack's life had taken an unexpected turn. The choices they had made, the challenges they had faced, and the love they had nurtured had all led to this moment. Meanwhile, Josh was also embarking on a new chapter. He had decided to pursue a degree in music education, inspired by his love for music and the desire to share it with others. He was accepted into a renowned music school, and his excitement was palpable. "I can't wait to start my classes," Josh said one evening as he packed his things for the move. "Teaching music is something I'm really passionate about, and I want to help others discover the joy of it." Jack and Kate helped him prepare, offering advice and support as he navigated this new phase of his life. They were thrilled to see both of their children following their passions and making meaningful contributions to the world. With both Emily and Josh away pursuing their dreams, Jack and Kate found themselves with more time to focus on their own interests and projects. Jack continued his consulting work, but he also took on a new role as a mentor, guiding young entrepreneurs and community leaders. He found immense satisfaction in sharing his knowledge and helping others succeed. Kate, on the other hand, expanded her health and wellness initiative at the community centre. She introduced new programs, including mindfulness workshops and fitness challenges, aimed at improving the overall well-being of the community members. Her efforts were well received, and the initiative flourished. One afternoon, as Jack and Kate walked hand in hand through their neighbourhood, they marvelled at how much had changed and how much they had grown. The trees lining the streets were in full bloom, and the sounds of children playing filled the air. It was a scene that spoke to the vibrancy and resilience of their community. "Can you believe how far we've come?" Jack mused, squeezing Kate's hand. "From that fateful Christmas morning to now, it's been quite a journey." Kate smiled, leaning into him. "It has been. We've built a life full of love and purpose, And it's all thanks to the choices we've made and the people we've surrounded ourselves with. As they approached the community center, they were greeted by familiar faces and warm smiles. Tanya, now a key leader at the center, waved them over. Jack, Kate, I wanted to show you something. She led them to a new mural that had been painted on one of the walls. It depicted scenes from the community's history, including the founding of the center, various events, and the people who had made a difference. At the center of the mural were portraits of Jack and Kate, symbolizing their enduring impact. We wanted to honor your contributions, Tanya said, her voice filled with emotion. You've done so much for all of us, and we're grateful. Jack and Kate were deeply moved. The mural was a testament to the legacy they had built, a visual representation of their journey and the lives they had touched. It was a reminder of the power of community and the lasting impact of their efforts. As they stood there, taking in the mural, Jack felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The path he had chosen, the sacrifices he had made, and the love he had nurtured had all led to this moment. It was a legacy that would endure, carried forward by the people they had empowered and inspired. That evening, as they sat on their porch watching the sunset, Jack and Kate talked about the future. They knew that change was inevitable, and that there would always be new challenges to face. But they also knew that they were ready to embrace whatever came their way, grounded in the love and purpose that had guided them thus far. Whatever happens next, we'll face it together, Jack said, his voice filled with conviction. We've built a life we're proud of, and we'll continue to grow and adapt. Kate nodded, her eyes filled with determination. Together, we can handle anything. Our journey isn't over. It's just evolving. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over their home, Jack and Kate felt a deep sense of peace. They had embraced change, faced challenges, and built a legacy of love and purpose. And as they looked toward the future, they knew that their greatest adventures were yet to come. The years continued to pass, bringing with them new experiences and opportunities. Jack and Kate found themselves in a period of life marked by reflection and anticipation. Their children were flourishing in their respective fields, the community center was thriving, and their own lives were filled with meaningful work and loving relationships. One bright spring morning, Jack and Kate received a call from Emily. Her voice was filled with excitement as she shared her latest news. Mom, Dad, I've been offered a position with an international environmental organization, Emily said, barely able to contain her enthusiasm. I'll be working on global sustainability projects, traveling to different countries, and making a real impact. Jack and Kate exchanged proud smiles. That's incredible, Emily. Kate exclaimed, we're so proud of you. This is exactly what you've always wanted. Emily's excitement was palpable even over the phone. I know, it's a dream come true. I couldn't have done it without your support. As they hung up the phone, Jack and Kate felt a mix of pride and nostalgia. Their little girl was making her mark on the world, following her passion and making a difference. It was a reminder of how far they had come and how their journey had shaped their family's future. Meanwhile, Josh was thriving in his role as a music educator. He had landed a position at a renowned music school, where he was inspiring the next generation of musicians. His passion for teaching was evident in the way he spoke about his students and their progress. One weekend, Josh invited Jack and Kate to attend a recital featuring his students. The auditorium was filled with the sound of beautiful music, and Jack and Kate watched with pride as Josh conducted the young musicians with skill and enthusiasm. After the recital, Josh introduced his parents to some of his students. This is my mom and dad, he said, his voice filled with pride. They've always supported me and my love for music. One of the students, a young girl, Mia, looked up at Jack and Kate with admiration. Mr. Campbell is the best teacher ever. He makes music so much fun. Jack and Kate exchanged a proud glance. We're so glad to hear that, Mia, Jack said, smiling. Josh has always had a passion for music, and it's wonderful to see him sharing that with others. As they left the recital, Jack and Kate felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Their children were thriving, pursuing their passions and making meaningful contributions to the world. It was a testament to the values they had instilled and the love and support they had provided. Back at the community center, the leadership program continued to flourish. Tanya had taken on a larger role, overseeing new initiatives and ensuring the center's sustainability. Jack and Maria watched with pride as the next generation of leaders stepped up, bringing fresh ideas and energy to the center's mission. One afternoon, Jack and Maria met to discuss the center's future. "Jack, I've been thinking," Maria said thoughtfully. "You've built an incredible legacy here. Have you ever considered writing a book about your experiences and the journey we've been on?" The idea intrigued Jack. He had always enjoyed sharing stories and insights, and the thought of documenting their journey appealed to him. "That's a great idea, Maria. I think it's time to capture our story and share it with others." Over the next few months, Jack began to write. He poured his heart into the project, reflecting on the pivotal moments that had shaped his life and the community center. He wrote about the challenges they had faced, the triumphs they had celebrated, and the lessons they had learned along the way. As he wrote, Jack found himself reliving the journey, from the early days of the community center to the present. He marveled at how much they had accomplished and how far they had come. The process was both cathartic and inspiring, a chance to honor the past and look forward to the future. One evening, as Jack sat at his desk writing, Kate came in and handed him a cup of tea. "How's the book coming along?" she asked, sitting down beside him. Jack smiled, taking a sip of the tea. "It's coming together nicely. It's been quite a journey, reflecting on everything we've done and how much we've grown." Kate nodded, her eyes filled with warmth. "I'm so proud of you, Jack. You've built something truly special, and sharing our story will inspire others to make a difference." As they talked, they realized that their story was not just about the past, but about the future as well. They had laid the foundation for a lasting legacy, one that would continue to grow and evolve with each new generation. The day finally came when Jack's book was published. It was titled Building a Legacy, a Journey of Love, Community, and Purpose. The launch event was held at the community center, and it was a celebration of their journey and the impact they had made. Friends, family, and community members gathered to celebrate the book's release. Tanya spoke about Jack's contributions and the difference he had made in their lives. Jack's story is a testament to the power of community and the impact one person can have. We're all here today because of his vision and dedication. Jack took the stage, feeling a mix of humility and gratitude. "This book is not just my story. It's our story," he said, looking out at the faces of those who had been part of the journey. "Together, we've built something incredible, and it's a legacy that will continue to grow and thrive." The event was a resounding success, and Jack's book quickly became a source of inspiration for others. It was a reminder that true success was measured not by personal achievements, but by the positive impact one had on others. As Jack and Kate looked to the future, they knew that their journey was far from over. There were still new challenges to face, new opportunities to embrace, and new adventures to embark on. They were ready to continue building their legacy, one filled with love, purpose, and community. One sunny afternoon, Jack and Kate sat on their porch, watching the world go by. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air, a testament to the vibrant community they had helped create. "Here's to the next chapter," Jack said, raising his glass to toast with Kate. "To the next chapter," Kate echoed, clinking her glass with his. As they sat together, enjoying the moment, they knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, with love and purpose guiding their way. And in that moment, they felt a deep sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that their legacy would continue to inspire and uplift 4 generations to come. Thanks for watching.